Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours, a storytelling podcast with me, your host, Trey Everett. Hello and welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours. I'm your host, Trey. Today on the pod, I am so excited for our guest. I've been looking forward to this one, and she delivered. She was great. Today's guest is an incredibly talented songwriter and vocalist and singer and pop artist, and she's great, and you're going to really love her. So without further ado, please welcome to the pod, Anie Delgado.
To help you balance what I do, I think I try and come up with concepts prior to sessions. So I have something. So I've heard from producers, it's really annoying when you go in and you're like, I don't know what I want to write about. So I have ideas fleshed out and stuff, but I like to give the producers space to contribute too, because then honestly, it's nicer in my opinion to have multiple perspectives, on a piece. And then also they're just more involved and more excited about the project anyways. Because if I'm just telling them what to do, it's not fun for them. Yeah. So there's that element, but then I do I was proud of this last EP that I just recorded. I came to the table with a lot of production ideas and references and stuff. So yeah, but you learn every time you do another song, you learn how to better collaborate, Yeah,
absolutely. Do you find yourself working with similar producers or the same producers, or do you just try to work with new people as often as you can?
For a while there, it was kind of hard to keep the same person around, which was a good problem to have because they often had amazing careers. The first guy I ever worked with, he did Industry Baby with Lil Nas afterwards.
Oh shit, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and he's Grammy nominated and he's sick and he's very nice. We're very friendly. I'm sure cool. If he had time, we would work together, but he's so busy because he's just Grammy nominated now.
Yeah.
And then after that, I worked with another guy that his career kind of took off. But the guys that I am working with now, they all have really solid careers too. And I finally feel I found my producing team that I vibe with the most. So
I love that.
Yeah, I work with these guys out of the UK named Gary and George. They're sick. We do Zoom sessions and we write
so
songs
cool.
in 2 hours. And then a few guys in LA.
So crazy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I hate because I was in New York before LA. Mm-hmm. And when I was there, I felt I couldn't find anyone in the pop world that wanted to produce pop to work with. And so I love that I'm not limited to even just LA now. You can literally work with someone anywhere.
How did you find them? Do you remember how you came across them or how you came to connect with them?
I worked with this manager in a consulting kind of arrangement. So they weren't my manager per se, but they were consulting me and they introduced
That's cool.
me. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So I have a good squad now. There's a nice,
I love it.
And yeah, you get something different from working with different people. So
yeah, no, I completely agree. And I've always, as an artist, I always try to approach projects with the best idea has to win.
Yeah.
Even if I'm really, really passionately, strongly for something, if I hear another idea and it's better, I have to let go of what I want because that's the best idea. That's cool.
100%. I brought this song that I took a production class because I'm trying to learn how to produce myself. And
cool.
I wrote this song all by myself, 100%, did the track and everything. And I took it to Gary and George because I was I was humble enough to know these guys are going to improve the production. They're going to improve the songwriting. We're a dream team. Let me just, that was a hard one because it was a very personal song. And it was also something I did all by myself. But it's so true. It's just you have to kill your darlings sometimes and just, let other people, if they have a better idea, the better idea flies,
Absolutely. I love that. And I completely agree. You've mentioned you're working on an EP. Is that where is that at? What's going on? What's going on with that?
It's done. It's kind of been done, but it's releasing music, as you know, because you're an artist, is it takes time for everything. So I've just kind of been sitting on it just because of getting visuals together, getting music ideas together, getting all the marketing and all that stuff together. But yeah, it's 7 songs, I think.
That's awesome.
And it's funny that it's been in existence for so long because it was supposed to be 4 songs, but just the more time passes, the more songs I write in sessions, and then I'm oh, that could be on the EP. That could be on the EP.
Totally.
So, yeah, it's totally. Getting mixed and mastered. It's gonna be out pretty soon.
That's awesome. When that happens, so one of the things that my band experienced is kind of very similar. We wanted to just do a 3-track, very small. We're this will be fun. This will be super cool. It'll be super easy. We'll be able to do it ourselves and just put it out. And so we're let's do 3 tracks. So we were picking those 3 songs. Then, like you said, you write other songs and you're like, well, we like this song better now, so maybe we do 4. And they're like, well, why don't we do 6? And then eventually you're at
Yeah.
like, we've got 13 songs. Is there anything that makes you still like want to limit it to the 7 songs, or did it cross your mind like, why don't we just do like a full album?
Yeah, I wrote like 20 songs like
Oh
for it.
shit.
Yeah, I was like busy last year. I was in like 4 or 5 sessions a week, just like
That's amazing.
on songs. But I just, although I like a lot of the songs that it didn't end up on it, I just want to put my best foot forward. And
Yeah.
also I'm aware of like my fan base size. It's still growing. So I don't want to give people more than they can chew off.
I
I'd
love
rather
that.
put out like 4 to 7 songs and then have them asking. And it's worked so far. Like I'll put out a single and they'll be like,
Yeah.
when's the next one? And I'm like, guys, I just gave you one. So I never want it to be like, oh, no one heard the 10th track on my record because
Yeah, I
it's
think
still
that, I mean,
growing.
I think that's,
Yeah.
that's like a super smart approach. And I feel like that's kind of what a lot of artists are doing now, is it's more singles and EPs as opposed to like waiting 2 years and putting out a full album, then waiting 2 years and putting out a full album.
Exactly.
Um,
Although
that's
I'd love
cool.
to put out an album, but
You
you know,
will.
one of these
You
days.
will. You will. Yeah, you will. You will.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you again so much for doing this. I'm excited to chat with you.
Me too.
But the reason that we're chatting today is because you're going to tell me a story.
Yeah. I have a good one for you. I have a good
I
one.
love it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I like this one because it's kind of songwriting
Cool.
um but also just funny anecdotes. You get a sense of who I am as a
I love it.
person, I guess, too.
I love it. I love it so
Um,
much.
yeah, so a couple years back, I was still living in New York. I was acting back then. I did musical theater. I was
Cool.
in a band for a little bit, hopped out of the band, and then I was kind of like trying to figure out how to like do a music career. I didn't really know
Mhm.
how the industry worked or like what to do. So I was still in theater. I went away, tale as old as time, to do the Buddy Holly show. I played his wife, Maria Elena.
Oh, cool.
Sick. It's like music adjacent. Buddy
Yeah,
Holly,
that's awesome.
amazing songs, and he was an inspiration for like a lot of our modern music and stuff.
Hmm.
I actually just saw the Strokes
Oh
at
my
the
God.
Forum, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they have to be influenced by Buddy Holly because it's like the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Strokes are like one of my all-time favorite bands.
Oh, they're
I
so
think they're so good. It's like they're one of those bands where you're like, okay, guys, we get it. Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
good. We
yeah.
get it.
Julian Casablancas in general is like that. But yeah. So yeah, we were doing Buddy Holly, great show. Tale as old as time, I start dating Buddy.
Nice.
And a couple months pass, by after the gig, and I'm back in New York, and we're doing long distance, and he breaks up with me the day before my birthday.
Perfect.
And
Perfect timing. Yeah.
like, great.
You're like, thanks.
My birthday's on a Tuesday. I don't really want to do anything. I'm like sad. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like shitty. And so my friends all drag me out to go do something for my birthday. And then the restaurant we picked is closed. I'm just like, I'm just really not meant to have a birthday this year. It's not.
Oh
So eventually we go to my very favorite, like the trashiest, like dirtiest, grittiest dive bar on the Lower East Side. It's called Clockwork.
no. Okay.
It's like floor to ceiling graffiti,
Perfect.
and like people writing on the walls. It's dirty. The drinks are cheap. It's sick. So we're there. There's like a whole photo shoot, probably way back on my Instagram to kind of like commemorate the experience. We're
I love
having
it.
drinks, we're having a good time. And then we decide to move to different locations. So
Mhm.
we are walking down the street in the Lower East Side to the different location. We go to get into the next place, and I didn't have my ID. And so I'm like, shit, I lost my ID somewhere. This is the worst birthday ever. And so I don't know why, but like sometimes when you're drunk, you're like, you're a little bit more, your ingenuity is like on point or something.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, great idea. I'm going to look at the photos we took at the last place to see if I had my ID in any of them. And sure enough, there's a photo of me looking fucked up, with my ID right here, tucked into my bra, sticking out.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I still had a Florida ID at the time. So like, definitely was my ID, even though you couldn't see like, my
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's my ID. It's probably at Clockwork. So my friend Ange, is the person who is appointed to escort me back because I was
Perfect.
pretty fucked up. And we're walking, and
Good for you guys though to like be able to have that plan. Like
Yeah.
you are in charge. I'm following you.
Yeah, I don't know if I can claim that that was me that like got it together, but collectively we got it together.
Hive mind. I love it. You guys are
Yeah,
looking out for each other. It's great.
we were. So my friend Ange and I are walking back to Clockwork, which is like a few minutes, and I'm starting to get in my feels at this point because nothing's
Yeah.
gone right, and I'm
Hmm.
a big dummy for leaving my ID at the last place. And she just gives me like the best pep talk ever,
Hmm.
um, about just like I guess I'd gone through a stint of just hopeless romantic, like hoping that every guy would work out.
Yeah.
Hoping that every situation would work out and like to no avail. And my friends were like hearing about it all. And so
Yeah.
she just gave me this like stellar speech about like you are your own galaxy. Like you have everything that you need within yourself. Like you don't need anyone else. Like you are it. Like you don't need anything else.
I love that.
She typed me this really nice note. I still have it to this day. And anytime I'm like
Hmm.
acting a fool, I look at that note. And she said, um, to that you're good enough on your own. So we
I
went back
love
to
that so
Clockwork.
much.
Yeah, found my ID immediately. Went back to the club. I became the quintessential like crying in the club on her birthday girl,
Perfect. Perfect.
just because it was just a rough night. But yeah, it was a very the reason I'm telling this story is because I feel like it was a very formative night, as like chaotic as it was. It stuck with me, and her words stuck with me, and it really influenced a lot of like what I write about now, especially obviously my song Galaxy.
Hmm.
Her little speech was kind of the first little idea spark of that song. And then like a couple years later, not too long later, we were was in a session, or I was actually just like hanging out with the producer that did Galaxy. His name's PJ Bianco. Two producers worked on it. The other's Nick Lee. He's the one that did Industry Baby.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
PJ was kind of like getting me ready to do a song with him. He's got some sick credits too, and I was a very like new artist. So he was
Hmm.
like, we're not recording anything until you have like a song that like is really feeling. And he was like, I want you to go home. I want you to bleed on the page. I don't work with artists that don't bleed on the page. So
Hmm.
go figure it out. So I went home. I sat, in my living room with my guitar for like a couple hours and I wrote a bunch of like half ideas.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of just like verse chorusing things and then like seeing where
Oh,
they go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice.
And yeah, Galaxy was one of them. And it was cool and I was into it, but there were some other ideas floating around. And a couple weeks later, I went to my first music festival and it all kind of came together when I saw just kind of like people having a good time together, like total strangers.
Yeah.
And it just made me think, like it's humanity and like just people are so cool in that like, yeah, you can have everything you need within yourself, but it's
Hmm.
also really cool when we all like interact and we're all like, in sync basically together. So
Yeah.
that
Absolutely.
was like the kind of like story of Galaxy coming to be.
I love that. I love that so much. And I think that's like so spot on. I've always thought about the fact that like every person is so vastly different and like our interests are different, our ideas are different, our thoughts, our ideologies, our politics, like everything about everyone is so different. But music often is that one common denominator. Like you never
Yeah.
talk to anyone and they're like, I don't like music. It's like
Yeah.
like what are you human? Like of course
Yeah.
you like music.
Yeah.
Like
Everyone.
everyone does.
And
And
it's
I
so
think
seldom that you see people just interacting in such a positive way with like
mhm,
no conflict. So yeah,
I
it was
love that.
just,
I love that so much. And I also love that like that producer kind of approached it that way with you where he like was very clear about like, hey, I'm not going to work with an artist unless they're willing to like put everything they have into their art. I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
great.
It was a great foundation, definitely. And like I learned so much making that song with them.
Hmm. Now, when did that song come out?
That was 2019.
Cool. Cool. So that was a
Yeah.
couple of years ago. Um, that's awesome. I love that. I love everything about that. And what was your friend's name again?
Angela.
Angela, if you're listening,
Yeah.
and we know that you are,
She's such a homie.
kudos. You're a homie. You're a real homie. Like you are
Yeah.
the real homie.
She's such a homie.
I love that so much. Thanks for sharing. That's like such a cool thing. And to be able to like have that moment where like, and I'm sure to her in that moment, she was just trying to make you feel good. Like
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
just being a friend and it was like, did not have anything deeper meaning. She was just trying to be a friend, but like to have that moment then translate to so much of like how you carry yourself now and the art that you create now, and like
Yeah.
how impactful something so in the moment that seemed insignificant like has had such a ripple effect
Yeah.
in such a
It just
huge
goes to show
way.
how like much weight words can carry sometimes, whether
Hmm.
you mean it or not, you know?
I love that so much. I think that's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, you have a new EP coming out eventually. Do we have like a tentative time frame or like an ideal? I'd
Yeah,
love for it to be out by this time.
like early fall. I have a
Cool.
song coming out from the EP, and then we're gonna decide if we want to do more singles or if we want to drop the whole thing.
Cool. Do you know when the song is coming out? Has that been
Yeah, I can.
scheduled?
It's official. I haven't announced it. I can say it here. It's July 29th.
July 29th. Cool. And what is
Yeah.
that song called?
It's called Indie Bands and Cigarettes.
That's a great fucking name for a song.
Thank
That's a great name for a song.
you.
Indie Bands and Cigarettes.
Yeah.
And it's coming out July 29th.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll put this episode out that Monday before that song comes out.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah.
like
Thank
it'll
you.
be announced, it'll be official, and I can tell everyone to go
As a
listen
promo.
to Indie Bands and Cigarettes. That's a great song title.
Thank you.
I love that. Anything in particular you would prefer I point people towards to find you, to find your music?
I
Anything
guess
at
like
all?
the typical like Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Tidal, Apple
Hmm.
Music, you know, in that
And
order, probably
and then
like
is your Instagram or TikTok handles anything special, or is it just your name?
my name, Annie, and
Cool.
then underscore Delgado. And I usually
Perfect.
say Annie with one N because
Annie with one, and I like
it's
that.
confusing. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. You
love
get
it.
used to it after a while. You're like, I
Yeah.
have to specify.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's it. You did it.
Oh, cool. We did it.
Congratulations. Yeah, that was
Nice.
it. It was great. It was
Oh, good.
perfect. That's exactly what we're here for.
Sick. Yeah. It was nice to meet you.
It was
Are
so
you in
great to
LA?
meet you. Yeah, I'm in over in Los Feliz.
Oh, I'm in Silver Lake. I just moved
Oh,
here.
nice. How do you like it?
I like it a lot. I moved from the west side, and
Okay.
it's cool. Like there's stuff to do. It's
Yeah.
fun.
I'm
Yeah,
like I'm such an East Sider. I'm like
yeah,
it's painful how East Side I am.
yeah.
Like my the
Like, I don't
last
over there.
like my last girlfriend was like she's like you carry your water bottle everywhere. And I was like so?
Yeah, your emotional support water
She's like,
bottle.
"Oh my god." Yeah, she's like, "You're such an East Sider." And I was like, "Look,
That's
I
so
wear
funny.
that with pride." Um
Yeah,
that's so cool.
my fiance grew up like in this area and
Oh,
stuff, so
cool.
he
Very
wanted to
cool.
move back here closer to his grandma. So we're like literally
Hmm.
4 doors down from her now, which is so nice.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and then
Um
it's amazing. So
do you have any shows coming up? Do you like play often in
not
LA?
yet, but I will.
Cool.
I like hate doing shows like super often at bars because it's like such a pain in the ass,
Yes.
as I'm
Yeah.
sure you know. But
Yes.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking with my team. We're kind of like discussing how we want to do shows.
Mm-hmm.
I just signed with a manager. She's cool. She's
Congrats.
in Italy, like randomly.
She's what?
Um, she's in Italy. She's like she
Oh,
works
wow.
between Italy, London, and the US. And
That's amazing.
so she would like to like see me on some small tours. I would also
Mm-hmm.
like to see me on some
Yeah,
small
you're like,
tours.
I would also like to see me on so.
Yeah, so she was like, you gotta do some more shows. And I'm like, yeah, but like, can we make them like worthwhile? So we'll see.
Yeah. If I could say anything, not that you need any advice from me at all.
No, please.
My band, we definitely like went through a phase a couple of years ago where we were playing
All the
every week,
time.
like every weekend. Like
Yeah,
for 4 or 5 months, we played all the time.
yeah.
And
You
then
get better that way, but it's also like
we definitely got, yeah, exactly. Like we definitely got better. We got tighter, and we got like we were having fun. But then we just kind of realized like it's nice to get like one or two people who have never heard of you before interested in your music, but then like it's just so exhausting to do
yeah.
it so often. So we kind of like really made the conscious decision of like, hey, we need to
Go back.
not play so much. And we found that like when we play once every other month, like all of our friends are way more likely to come because they haven't
Yeah.
seen us in a month or two.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm to the point now because I played last September where all my friends are like, when's your next show? We were like
love
dying
that.
to go. And I'm like, good, because like it's so hard usually.
Yeah.
My last show, I got like it was at Madame Siam. I don't know if you know that venue.
I'm like, I've never played there, but I'm like familiar with it.
Yeah, it's in Hollywood. It
Hmm.
was pretty full. Like I think I had over 70 people there. It was like a great turnout.
That's awesome.
I think, like you said, every other month is probably like a good formula
Totally. I
because you're
love
not
that.
like exhausting your friends.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Well, awesome. Well, I will keep a lookout for when
yeah,
you have a show, and I will absolutely be there.
thank you. Likewise.
And I will also really look forward to July 29th when your single comes out. That's going to be awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and let's get coffee soon because we're really close.
I'd love that. Yeah, hit me up. I work from home, so I'm free
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I will give you back the rest of your Friday evening. Thank you. It was so great to chat with you. And yeah,
me.
we'll get together soon.
Talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Tell Me Yours. Thank you, Anie, for that really just lovely story. And if you were her friend who pep talked her, just good on you. What a real one you are. If you want to follow Anie, TikTok and Instagram, she is at Anie_Delgado. Be sure to check out her brand new single that comes out this Friday, July 29th, titled Indie Bands and Cigarettes. It will be off her upcoming EP, so stay tuned for that. But yes, her new single comes out this Friday. Go stream it, pre-save it today if you haven't already. I'm confident it's going to be incredible. If you want some extra time with Anie, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/tellmeyours. You'll get the full episode with video. We had a great time chatting and connecting, both being artists here in LA. It was a really fun chat, so go check it out, patreon.com/tellmeyours. If you want to follow us, Twitter and Instagram, we are at tellmeyoursPod. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like our podcast. Give us a comment or something and rate us and stuff. 5 stars, please. But yeah, would love to continue to get some really great feedback from all of you. Thank you so much for listening. It means a lot. But I think that's all I have for you today. So without further ado, I'm saying goodbye. Until next week. Until next week, be kind to each other, and we'll talk soon.